you're already accruing a penalty that you'll pay on your tax return. There's a lot of misinformation out there about what that penalty is, so let me clarify it for you. It is the greater of $95 or 1% of your household income. So for most people, it's going to be the 1%, okay? Let me explain what that 1% is of. If you live at home with your parents, let's say you're 27 years old, you just came off your parents' plan at 26, and you're here making $35,000 a year, your parents each make $75,000 a year. That means your household income is $185,000. Your penalty would be 1% of that $185,000, which is $1,850. Likewise, if you're just an adult living with another adult, and you're the only one without coverage, your penalty is 1% of the combined household income. Next year, that doubles to 2%. The year after that, it goes to 2.5%, and then after that, it goes up adjusted for inflation. Not medical inflation, but consumer inflation. So, you know, if you watch MSNBC, they talk about the $95, which is really the minimum, and if you watch Fox News, they talk about the 1% of household income, which is really the maximum. So there's a lot of misinformation out there. Now, that penalty you're already accruing. You won't pay it until you actually file your tax return for 2014. It is done pro rata, so if you were without coverage for 3 months, you'll pay a quarter of the annual penalty. And the other misinformation out there has been around enforcement of that penalty. They've said that we will not come after you for that money. So they won't put a lien on you. They won't garnish your wages if all you owe is that penalty. But they certainly will withhold it from any refund you're supposed to get. So the other thing I want to point out is that there's a lot of other potential monies you can get under the Affordable Care Act or owe or be entitled to besides that penalty. It is only that penalty that has limited enforcement. Let me give you an example of another penalty that they're going to be much more strict on enforcing. As many of you know, there are these things called exchanges, okay, the healthcare exchanges, healthcare.gov, because here in North Carolina, I was part of the team that helped the legislature have a rule book as to how we can maintain our own exchange, because we felt as an industry that we would be better off knowing what's good for North Carolinians being in North Carolina than the federal government. But the legislature was afraid to act on what we put before them because the Democrats felt that if they supported a state exchange that they were against Obamacare, and the Republicans felt that if they supported the state exchange they were showing support for Obamacare. So there's a line